Hi, everybody. My name is Sam, and I am a freshman over at UNL right now, and I'm so excited to be working with you guys today. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about time management. So, hope you guys are excited. It's a really big topic, and I know that it can really help you guys out. First, we're going to start off with a little activity. So, I want everybody to get out a piece of paper, and I want you to write down how you organize your day. Like you can do it as like a planner or a schedule, whatever you like, just how you try and organize out your day. You can pause the video so you can like write everything down and get yourself all organized. But once you're done, just set it to the side so we'll be using that later. And then we'll move on a little bit. So I'm going to break it down, like organizing your day, into three different kinds. So the first is to get up really early, stay up late, and try and stretch the day as much as possible so that you have as much time as possible. While this can seem like a good idea because you have more time to do things, it results in you're really tired and you have a lack of focus when you're working. It's not really efficient because no matter what, if you have that amount of time in the day, you're going to fill it with something. So you're going to have a lot of stuff that's going to be distractions and you won't end up getting your work done. The second approach is to pack as much into the small amount of time that you have. So whether that's an hour break between classes or you have a few minutes before your soccer practice, you try and pack as much stuff into there as you can, but you're still getting sleep, but you're gonna burn out. It's really stressful to try and do that. Nobody wants to try and rush things, and you end up not doing as well as you could on projects and assignments and any activities that you have. You just try and cram them all into a really short period of time. Now, here's the third option. And let me just say, before I was both of these, both of the first two, I would stretch the day as much as possible, and the short little windows I'd have, I'd try and cram as much as I could. I ended up with a lot of stress, and I was tired, wasn't really very efficient. I never tended to get my work done on time because I just couldn't focus. But now, after I've taken this class in college over and then taught me about time management, um, there's a new way to do it. So you start out with your day, you make a list of everything you have to get done, and then you rank it. You order that list from the most important to least important. So then when you do have free periods, you can get the most important things done first, and then leave the least important things to fill in the time that's remaining. So that way you leave the day feeling accomplished, that you got something important done, and that you got a good chunk of activities done that you had to finish up that day. Now, this doesn't mean try and pack as much as you can. It's using your time efficiently. And because you've ranked everything from most to least important, you're getting that stuff that's the top priority done right away. So you don't feel stressed or overworked that you have too much to do and too little time. Now you actually have a plan of attack and you can get things done. So when you start to sort out your day, here's some key points I want you to focus on. One, you need to have goals, and these goals need to be realistic. They can't be something that is not attainable. Like, I can't make a goal for myself that I am going to run a marathon in 10 minutes. It's just not going to happen. So I need to make it a realistic goal that I can actually achieve. Next, your goals have to have a timeline. If you don't put some sort of deadline or due date for yourself, you're never going to get it done because you have no motivation to get it done. And then you have to make your goals specific. It can't be a really broad goal like, oh, I'm going to work out. No, you need to specifically say what you're going to do, or else you leave it open to not doing it. The next point is organization. So however you plan your day, you need to be able to replicate it so that you can create like a habit for yourself so that every day you do the same thing. If you don't, then you'll tend to kind of forget and you'll end up just not doing it. And it has to be somewhat simple. Don't make an organization process that takes 45 minutes or else it's just cutting into your time that you could be doing other things for. Just take 10 minutes, something that's simple and easy to remember, something that you won't get lost in when you're trying to look back and figure out what you're supposed to be doing that day. Last point is to be diligent. You have to make sure that you stick to your planner and that you make sure you're getting these goals done. A good way to do it is to have a friend or family member that's going to keep on you about it. My sister She's very organized and she tends to have her stuff all together. So she can help me keep on track with my stuff until it becomes a habit for me to get all my work done. All right, now that we have some key points, we've kind of gone over how to organize yourself, let's go through some steps. Okay, so step one is to do a time log. So this can look like either a week or a couple days, something like that, where you just write down what you do each day and how much time you give to each activity. It's kind of like making a planner after the day. You just write down what you did and how long you spent, so you know like what you're putting your time towards now before you're organizing it. For me, I realized I was doing a lot of things just kind of like laying around and not doing much. There wasn't many, productive activities in my day, and there was a lot of time I spent wasting. It's a good way to figure out where you need to allocate your time and your energy differently than you are doing now. Next, you got to make priorities. This goes back to your ranking tasks that I talked about earlier. So there's many ways to organize and differentiate your different tasks and priorities. You can group them by deadline, which one's going to be coming up first that you need to get done right away. You can separate them by difficulty, which ones are going to be your hardest, which ones are going to be your easiest. And you can make groups of different kinds, some that are similar, some that are different, so you can get similar ones done at the same time. And then you have different ones that you can do at another time. A good way to separate these out is to either make a group or list. I like to make groups where you have high priorities, mid priorities, and low priorities, and then you can also make a list out of that where you have your 1 through 10 most important to least important activities that you need to get done. Up our goals, and these are something that I initially confused with priorities. I didn't quite know the difference, but your goals are taking your priorities and making them a specific and achievable task. So if your priority is to get math homework done, goal is how much and when. And you can make short, long-term goals, any type of length, but it's good to have a good mix so you aren't just trying to achieve everything, within a 1 day period. You're going to have some activities you're going to stretch out. It's good practice too for when you're older because you're going to have activities that are something that you need to do over a week or over even a month that are going to take a long time. And it's also good when you're talking about goals to check up on your previous goals that you made. And so once you've been doing your organization for a few days, a few weeks, then you can check up on yesterday's or the day before's and see how well you did and see what you need to change. Maybe you need to make your goals a little bit less difficult. Maybe you need to make them harder. But checking up on your goals from other days helps you kind of figure that out. And then, just like I said before, make sure that they're realistic. Make sure that you can actually achieve. All right, so next up, you're going to need a system. So whether this is a planner or a list or something that you just keep on your phone, you just need some way that you can organize it. Some way you can be consistent with how you organize it so then you can just replicate it each day. A good rule is the 10 by 10 rule. If you spend 10 minutes a day on planning, you're going to be 10% more efficient in what you do. Next up is deadlines. So procrastination, it doesn't really work. I used to always kind of tell myself that I'm not procrastinating, I'm just creating motivation by waiting for the deadline to get near, because I kind of use the deadline as my motivator. While this was a good saying in my head, it really honestly didn't work. It's better to just get your work done because then you're less stressed, then you don't have anything pile up on yourself. So when you make deadlines, then you force yourself to actually get your work done. The tricky part is actually to stick to the deadlines because you're enforcing them on yourself. It's not like somebody else is giving you a deadline. It's you and yourself. So it's what kind of self-discipline do you have to get your work done? That's going to be probably the trickiest part of all this is just sticking to it. But once you do, it's going to be great. All right, and the next point is to delegate. Now, this can be good and bad. You need to know how to delegate well. This is not something where you just get everything off your plate and you just throw it onto somebody else since it's their problem. That doesn't quite work. You need to figure out when to delegate and how to delegate. It's something more on the lines of group projects where you have a lot of work that you have to do in a short amount of time. And if you're someone like me, you tend to want to just do all the work and just get it done. But I've found out it's a lot easier to just trust people and to just hope that they do a good job. And you can check it over once they're done. But it's a good habit to get into to start working with other people. It's something you're going to have to do when you're older, and you're going to have to do now. And it's just something that I think is very beneficial, and it's going to really help with your stress. It's very difficult to just do a whole group project just by yourself. So when you split up the work, it's going to just make everything easier. If you guys remember earlier when we were talking about priorities, I said you can group them up by category, and that's what I want to talk about now. If you have tasks that are really similar, it's a good idea to just kind of get them all done in one chunk. So then you kind of get momentum with one, and then you just go to the other, and it's a lot smoother than trying to go from one topic to a different topic. Like let's say you have two math assignments. It's easier just to get both of them done at once than to go from a math assignment to a reading assignment back to the math assignment. It kind of it creates a little bit of flow to your work when you have a bunch of things that are similar, then you can just get them all done at the same time. I'm talking a lot about getting your work done and being very efficient with your time, but you need to make sure to have breaks, and that's something that's very important. You can't just kind of fry your brain by just working all day. You gotta have some time to have fun. So make sure that between your assignments, you go play a game or something. Go get outside, go watch some TV, play video games, do something like that. Just anything that kind of gives your brain a little bit of a break when you've just had a long period of work. And last but not least for the steps, we have testing. And this isn't tests from school. This is just running tests on how you're organizing your day. You want to see what works and what doesn't. So then you can fix it and be more efficient in how you spend your time. I realized that I couldn't stick to my planner unless I had written it down. I tried to just do it on my phone, but once I got on my phone, I got distracted and I ended up on Twitter or something like that. So now I just have a piece of paper that I write on every day and I put it on my magnet board, and that seems to work a lot better. So you want to see what works and what doesn't. Your first couple weeks, you just kind of want to test out different ideas that you have for how to organize your day, and you find out what's the best for you. All right, guys. So now we have a final activity. So I want you to get out that piece of paper that you used right at the beginning and flip it over and write a new planner, a new organizer. Now that you have gone through all the steps and you watched the video, you guys are going to be masters on how to organize your day. So I want to see what you guys have learned, and then you can compare your new planner to your initial one. See if it changed a lot or if you guys already got it right off the bat.